What's going on, family? Back on here with the Juke, man. Today we're going to be discussing about DeAndre Hopkins being a New York Giant. I definitely think we should go for him, but I'll be talking about the reasons why we should and shouldn't. But before we dive in, man, subscribe down below. Road to 1K is already finished, man. I was already going to say it again, but Road to 1K is already finished, man. I appreciate y'all so much. Make sure you subscribe down below if you're new to this channel, man. Like up the video, comment down below, and I guess Road to 10K starts now, man. Let's dive straight into it. So I was contemplating making this video for a little while now, and basically I was contemplating because I didn't know if I want to fuel the hype or feed into the hype. I honestly didn't know if I wanted to. A lot of people don't think we have a realistic chance of signing this guy. I think we do. People want to say he might not want to come here. But listen, this culture is changing. Everything's changing with this regime. And why not try to come in New York and be a great receiver? Somebody else is good at doing that. But the person we're going to be talking about today, man, is going to be Deandre Hopkins. Deandre Hopkins was released about a week ago, about last weekend. And he's been a free agent now for a week. But all the past 2 months of this offseason, man, DeAndre Hopkins was talked about for being a trade bait, being a trade candidate, going on a different team. And we knew that he was going to cost a steep price. You know, as much as they were saying that, hey, he's probably worth a third round, fourth round, as much as he was worth, we knew the Cardinals were going to want a lot more than a third round pick and a fourth round pick for DeAndre Hopkins. What they ended up doing was not being able to find a trade, and they booted him, man. So DeAndre Hopkins is a free agent. He now gives him free reign to choose where he wants to sign, also manipulate a new contract, try to get a different contract. So a lot of different variables are on the table, but I think this is the best case scenario for the Giants. And how can the Giants sign DeAndre Hopkins, right? Why would DeAndre Hopkins want to sign here? A couple of things that he wanted was a good quarterback. People don't think Daniel Jones is a good quarterback, but players might think different. That's all I'm saying. A good defensive line. Check that off. Probably have one of the best defensive lines in the league. And a steady regime. This is a year two of regime that just went out and went to the playoffs with a team that was supposed to be rebuilding. It's safe to say that they'll be here for a little while now. So upon his checklist, everything checks off, right? Is he going to stick to his checklist? I don't think so. We can want everything we want in this world, but we're not going to get it every single time, sadly. But DeAndre Hopkins, man, he could waver from this little checklist that he created because people are sticking to this checklist too much. Because in the end, I think he's going to end up signing with the team that's not really on that same wavelength. You see guys like the Bills being big candidates. You see guys like the Chiefs being big candidates. Big teams that are able to go out and get a big name receiver. Obviously, when you have Patrick Mahomes, we have Josh Allen. It's easy to get another wide receiver added to that team, especially when they already have stud receivers. And Travis Kelce, not a receiver, but a #1 weapon, as well as Stephon Diggs on the other side. The Giants don't have that. We have Darren Waller now, but we need to make sure he stays on the field. Giants don't have the pull of a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes. There's only so many teams that can't do that anyways. So DeAndre Hopkins, right, wants to go to one of those teams. They don't have any cap space. And yes, Giants fans, we don't have that much either. But you definitely don't think we can manipulate the cap somehow or some way to get him there? I definitely think that if you want to make this work, you can make this work. I've been saying this for a while now. The cap situation in the NFL is just something else because you see a bunch of guys still play for these teams, still making a lot of money, adding void years to contracts. I'm not the expert when it comes to this, but listen, I've seen a lot more crazier things happen. I'm hearing another thing. DeAndre Hopkins is old. We should go for another younger receiver, get a lot of young receivers. DeAndre Hopkins is 30 years old, right? 30. Once you pass 30 in the NFL age, you're getting a little old. You know who else is 30? Odell Beckham. You know who else is 30? Devontae Adams. You know who else is close to 30? Stephon Diggs. And yes, I'm naming the top receivers, and that's because DeAndre Hopkins is one of the top receivers in this league. This notion that he's too old, that we shouldn't get him because we need some younger guys, we need all the weapons we can for Daniel Jones. We were just talking about this the year before last year. It's been a notion that Daniel Jones needs more weapons. Daniel Jones needs more dudes. And listen, DeAndre Hopkins would be the #1 receiver with Waller on this team, would be the #1 option ASAP. Add him to this team, #1 option ASAP. So I don't understand the notion, hey, DeAndre Hopkins is too old. We should just start shifting towards the younger thing. Show me another receiver that's younger that's available. They got to be available at the end of the day. He's a free agent right now. We should be trying to push for him and trying to sign him. Offensive line is not the greatest. We don't have an edge rusher. We don't have depth at certain positions. And I'm with you. I'm with you 100% on that notion, man. I'm with you on that idea that, we should go out and spend some money on some depth pieces, try to get some more competition at certain spots and trying to get some more people behind some people because we know the Giants like to get injured. But we need to start thinking about the type of impact that a DeAndre Hopkins could have on this team, on this offense, on everything altogether, on our stud franchise quarterback that we just gave franchise money to. You would want to give him the best possible situation ever. That's something that he hasn't had in a while, and this is something that would be monumental for him. And the guy is available. Everybody can say whatever you want. He doesn't want to come to New York. He's available. Do what you can to get him on this team. When you look at a team like the Cincinnati Bengals, right? I understand Joe Burrow, top quarterback in this league. You could argue top 5. You could argue top 3. His offensive line was terrible for the past 2 years. Terrible. All he did was go to the AFC Championship and the Super Bowl the year prior to that with a bad offensive line. You know why? Because he has 3 stud receivers. There is no such thing as too many weapons. There is no such thing as our wide receiver room is okay. Like, we don't need to add a guy like Deandre Hopkins. What are we talking about? What are we actively talking about right now? In my opinion, man, like I said, adding receivers like that, giving them more weapons only allows this offense to be more diverse. Imagine having receivers like DeAndre Hopkins, Paris Campbell, Darren Waller, Jalen Hyatt, and then Saquon Barkley in the backfield. Oh, and Daniel Jones can run. This offense would be crazy. I also seen reports that the Giants might be out of the DeAndre Hopkins race. Might be out. Daboll didn't decline attempting to try to see if we can work something out. Because who would? Who would decline that opportunity to get a stud wide receiver, a top 5 wide receiver at one point in time? He hasn't stayed on the field recently, so you could argue that's why his production hasn't been there. But last year, after coming off that suspension, he was getting like 8 catches a game. 8 catches a game. He's still a guy right now. So if I'm the Giants, man, if it's me, I'm doing whatever I can to try to get him on this team. Listen, he's not going to get $20 million a year. I promise you he's not going to get that. But if we can try to make something work to get him on this team, that would be monumental for this offense, monumental for this team. I'm going to start the petition, man. The petition's been out. Get Daniel Jones weapons. We could have 5 number 1 receivers. I'll still say go get him another weapon. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. If you agree with me, let me know. If you don't agree with me, feel free to let me know in the comments. I reply to every single comment, man. Subscribe down below. Also, if this is your first time on this channel, man, like up the video. And if you haven't seen my other ones, I got more videos on my left right here, man. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace. What's going on, family? Back on here with the Juke, man. And calling all the Daniel Jones haters. Pull up to this video. Watch this video real quick. The New York Yankees lose the series. We get swept back in the third quarter. The third quarter was really when we started to make our moves. Then DeMar, banger.
Make sure you subscribe to the Juke.